The dominant reason is for safety. The second reason I would say is debris.
Because it looks like grandma and grandpa and all the kids and the grandkids are all standing on this cover.
If it's something the customer might want later, talk about it while you're designing the pool. It could be, play space, patio, dance floor, event space, and within under 10 minutes, it'll lower down and it can be your swimming pool.
Don't build a pool without hearing this first.
Turn your pool into a patio with one button.
So can you add a pool cover after the pool's already been built?
How to hide a pool cover without ruining the backyard vibe. Welcome to Luxury Outdoor Living Podcast with Mike
And Trey Farley
of Farley Pool Designs. For over 40 years, we've helped homeowners turn their backyards into personal retreats. And that's why after decades of designing and teaching in this industry, we're here to share our knowledge, helping you navigate the process with confidence.
Every week we break down design, trends, and insider tips that turn your vision into reality. We'd love to have you along for the ride.
Let's build your paradise together. Hello, this is Mike Farley, Luxury Outdoor Living Podcast with Farley Pool Designs. So we have a great episode to go into for Water Safety Month here in May. And one of the best things in the world you can talk about with water safety is a cover. And so we have a cover expert with us today, and we just wanted to thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So could you introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, my name is Ben Obenski.
Okay.
I'm with Pool Cover Resource. The company was started in 1989 by my father, Tom Obenski.
So second generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my first pool cover when I was 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
And kept doing them the whole time, or?
No, I took a break. I was working for him in the summer, but I was in high school, so I wanted to go do other fun things in the summer. So in high school, I didn't work for him after that one summer, and then I went off to college. I actually cleaned swimming pools in college. And then went to work for a public accounting firm for a few years, worked in commercial real estate, and then eventually found my way back to pool covers.
So were you in Dallas-Fort Worth the whole time?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, after I went to Texas A&M, and then after that I moved back to Dallas.
Okay. So I went to Texas Tech, so we're not rivals anymore.
Yeah, we left.
But yeah. Y'all have done pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too bad.
Yeah.
So, how did pool covers start, from a history standpoint?
So pool covers were started, they were invented by Joe Lamb. He started cover pools in 1962.
Okay.
Yeah.
A year older than me. So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So,
and they didn't change for a long time. Pool covers were driven by ropes, and that technology is still around. It's still being used by cover manufacturers today. And the only change has been cover pools inventing the stainless steel driven pool cover.
Okay. We'll dive into some more details on that in a little bit. So the pros and cons of that. So why do people want a pool cover?
And in our area, the dominant reason is for safety. Just they want to be able to close the pool, have it sealed off, so no accidents can happen, no kids can jump the fence and swim in their pool. That's the dominant reason. And then the second reason I would say is debris, keeping debris out of the pool, keeping it clean. So when you go to use the pool, you open it up and it's ready to go.
Yeah. So we did a photo shoot out at Possum Kingdom Lake several years ago, and you guys installed the cover there for one of the projects of many that we've done out there.
Yeah.
So, and we showed up, and there had been a dust storm, and there was probably, I would say, 1/4 inch of dirt on top of the cover. Now, this is their second home. not their primary residence. So nobody was there. And we didn't have access to a broom or anything. I mean,
you didn't bring a pressure washer with you?
Didn't have a pressure washer with me or anything. And I'm like, this pool is going to be trashed. Anyway, so we open the cover up. There's all this dust on the top. We're like, we don't have a way to get it off. So we'll just roll the cover, back and see what we have to work with. The pool was perfectly clean.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what shape it was after we rolled that cover back out. And, because there's people that think when you have a cover and you roll the debris up and it's sitting on the cover, that the debris magically disappears.
Yeah.
That's not the case. So for all of you that are thinking of getting a cover and you think that's how the process works, no, you still have to clean the cover off when there's all kinds of stuff on top of it.
Yeah, or clean up the housing that it rolls up into.
Yeah, so there's the lids that you have to get into that space, and sometimes it's like a swamp, I'm sure, when you guys show up to do work because people keep rolling it up. I had one client in California that she thought it would magically disappear, and she would roll, and every 3 or 4 months somebody had to come out and like, ma'am, you can't do this. This is a mess. Anyway, and they would clean it up and she would keep on rolling. But anyway, it was amazing to me because I grew up in Lubbock in West Texas, and when you get a dirt storm, I mean, it goes through windowsills, it goes through everything. And I mean, everything's just dusty and a mess. And this pool was in great shape when we finished and rolled it up. So I was simply amazed that it would keep that kind of debris out of a pool. So when you shut the lid, what can get in?
Nothing.
Okay.
Wow.
So I think that's the statement that I say to people when they have children is if you're looking something for safety, this is the best thing that you can have because your kids can't get in the pool even if they want to.
Right. Yeah, and it takes away the attraction too for the younger kids that see the water. Even if you have a fence, they'll be able to see the water, and that's what attracts them to it. So when you close the water off and seal it off, then they're no longer attracted to the area.
So there's a picture on y'all's website that shows from a safety standpoint, it looks like they had the Easter gathering on top of the pool cover because it looks like grandma and grandpa and all the kids and the grandkids are all standing on this cover. So it's not just designed to handle like 100 pounds if someone steps on it or something like that.
Right. Minimum 480, I believe, is the requirement, but yeah, it can hold easily two adults and a kid.
Okay.
So if a kid gets out there, you have 2 adults to go retrieve them.
Okay. So a sizable weight that it can handle. So there was one ad I used to see, but I think this is a different type of cover. It used to have an elephant on it.
Oh, yeah. A loop lock.
Loop lock. It was a baby elephant.
Yeah. There's a video of it, too.
Not a video. There is?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen the video.
Yeah, the elephant starts poking holes in it with its tusks.
Oh, no.
But, the cover is designed for safety to handle, a human, a pet, anybody, that steps on it and walks on it. Now,
is it advised that you walk on it?
No. I mean,
okay.
What we tell clients is it's really unstable. It's like walking on a waterbed. So if you let your kids walk out there, they could, fall over, hit their head on the coping or something like that. So it's advisable to just stay off of it. But
yeah, me as a kid, I can easily see me having a cover and be like, oh, I can go walk on water now. So yeah, it's good to.
I had a customer last week that was asking me, can I really walk on it? I said, sure. So she took her shoes off, walked out there. She's take a picture, send it to my husband.
There are things that if you do, you can create a lot of problems. Like I did have a client, somebody was telling me this not too long ago. They couldn't figure out why the cover kept breaking.
Oh.
And they finally went out and watched the video camera, and the kids were riding on the cover.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so it wasn't a cover failure at all. It was the kids thinking it was a joyride to, get on the cover and ride the cover as it shut and opened back and forth. So anyway, I had a dog when I was in California that the dog thought it was entertainment. And he would run over the top of the cover, and they wore out covers quicker than normal because this dog just constantly ran across. He thought it was like a cool waterbed. Now, most people don't know what a waterbed is today.
Yeah.
My wife had one when we got married. But have you ever been on a waterbed?
Yeah, Grandma had a waterbed.
Oh, well, that's true.
That's the only time.
Yeah. But most people don't see those that much anymore. But
yeah, they're retro now.
They're retro now?
I think they're retro now.
Okay. So A, it's safe.
Yeah.
Okay. B, we're going to keep it clean. Now, I know that covers are really, really popular in Utah. And I've heard that almost everybody puts a cover on a pool up there.
Yeah.
And the reason why is also because of energy efficiency.
Right.
Yeah. So that's something that you can extend the seasons here in the spring and the fall, because the wind is what takes the cools the pool off. So if you can block the wind, and when I was in Northern California, it was a real big deal because the breeze would come in every afternoon, and it was the breezes from the Delta would come in and cool the valley off. So if you could roll your cover up as the breezes came in the evening, then your pool would stay warmer in the spring and the fall. So
yeah, we look at it like you can extend the season, and the money that you save on chemicals, water, energy will offset the heating costs that you're spending to extend the season. So you're kind of extending your season for free.
So how do you save chemicals?
Chemicals? Well,
evaporation, right?
I think it's mainly, you're blocking off the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so your UV's not depleting your chlorine as fast.
Okay.
You're keeping debris out, which will deplete your chlorine as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we save chemicals, we save energy, we save children. So we've done a lot of good things with the cover.
Yeah, and you get to use your pool more, and it's clean when you get to use it.
So can you only put a cover on a rectangle?
No.
Okay, cool. So explain to us how those situations might work.
Okay. Well, I'll show you too.
You have visual aids.
Yeah. The easiest way is what we call a deck on deck.
A deck on deck.
Yeah.
So,
which is you build a step around the pool that is the shape of a rectangle.
So you have a deck that's a rectangle.
Yeah, that outlines the whole pool. And then we put the track in the bottom of that step.
Okay. And then you have a free form or whatever shape.
Whatever you want, yeah.
Inside that space. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, you can do L-shaped pool with two covers that meet.
Okay.
I think there's also a picture in there of that. Yeah, so you'd have, a cover coming from either side, and they would meet. And, imagine one cover covering the bottom part of the L, the other cover covering the tall part of the L.
So there's a different shaped pool, which has two different covers over it. So, okay. So we've got so is there a certain size that you can get a cover in if we're trying to do an L-shaped pool? So we've got, the shallow to the deep end, and then we've got a big shallow end.
How big can they get is what you're asking?
Yeah. How big can a cover get?
So
like a single cover?
Width is 30 feet.
Okay.
Wow. That's pretty wide.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then length, we didn't do the cover, but I know someone's done an 18 by 80.
Okay.
As far as length.
So if we get wider, can we not go as long?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a certain mass that you have that can roll up with a cover.
Well, it's not even the weight. It's the It's the cable rolling up on the reels.
Okay.
So when you have really long cover, you've got a lot of cable in the track. When you roll all that cable up on the reels, it hits a point where, it's going to start slipping off the sides.
Okay. So you can do an 18, you said they did an 18 by 80?
18 by 80, yeah.
Wow, so interesting.
Yeah, it's a very long pool.
That was in Washington, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. So, Olympic length, when we do meters, those are like 80, I think it's 82. I'm not into metrics, so I should know it, but I don't off the top of my head. We did that one in Mansfield that was Olympic length. I think it was 82 feet long. So, anyway. But
we have another cover in, it's in West Texas, and it's 30 by 100, and it has 2 covers that meet in the middle.
Okay. That is very, very large. So we've done several, I want to say they were 55 feet long.
Yeah, I think you guys have done a 25 by 60, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah. So that was a popular size with a family that multiple people in the family all ended up with covers because they're in the insurance business. And so they believe in safety. And in fact, that family, so once you have a cover, a lot of people like it and they come back and get multiple ones over and over again.
Yeah. We hear that a lot. I'll never own a pool without a cover again from a lot of customers.
Let me ask you this. This podcast is about educating the customer. So can you explain to us exactly what your type of cover is called and then other covers that are out there on the market? And maybe what separates you from those?
As far as automatic versus like manual versions?
Yeah.
So we call it a motorized or an automatic pool cover.
Okay.
It's a solid vinyl material that goes over the pool. The other types of covers would be a manual mesh cover like a loop lock or a cover lawn, which are anchored into the deck around the pool, and you manually have to put each hook on every anchor. And then you have your Catch-A-Kid products, which is like a rope net that same idea is hooked into the coping or the deck around the pool. And then those also, you can put like a mesh covering on that to keep out leaves and sticks and stuff.
So does your cover come in different colors, the vinyl?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 7 standard colors. We got
What do you think the most popular one is? That
light blue, dark royal blue.
So the popularity usually is split pretty evenly among tan, grays, and blues.
Okay.
Navy, gray, charcoal.
And I'm imagining the darker the color, the less long the cover would last, just because of the UV.
It's very insignificant difference. I don't think. Yeah, I tell people not to base their choice on something like that.
Okay, cool.
It's like 2%.
That's awesome.
So if we've got a particular color that's not in these standard colors, is it possible to get that? Is it a custom situation?
Yeah, there's a wider palette that's available for a little bit of an upcharge.
Okay.
Is that a situation where you do a powder coat or maybe a film application to it, or is it the actual same material as the other colors?
It's the same material.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just that's what they stock in volume, and so you special order a color, then they've got to special order that reel. And
can you put an emblem on the cover, like the Texas A&M symbol or something like that?
You used to be able to, and they don't offer it anymore. Yeah.
No Texas A&M symbols.
No
okay.
big gig'em with a fist and a thumb sticking up. Yeah. I think they just had so few orders of it. It's just something that they eliminated.
No, I can see that. So you were asking a question if there was something you could attach to the vinyl.
Yeah, I went on like a deep dive before this podcast, and
Okay.
I was wondering, because in my head I was just thinking out loud in front of my dad. I was like, well, a lot of these pool covers are great, but people will complain about them because of the aesthetic. But people usually just roll them up, right? There's that one customer that wants to see their pool 24/7, and they hire a maintenance company, yada yada yada. But if there was a pool cover that would like kind of take the same look of the water surface, the mirror,
reflection.
The reflection, and apply that to the top of the cover to kind of mimic that feeling, to get that mirror look so it reflects the surrounding. I don't know if that's possible. I looked up a couple things, so.
I've never seen something like that. Now, one of the special colors they offer is clear, but it's more translucent, and I've never seen one, but the feedback I've heard about is that it tends to yellow over time. So,
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of people pick the blues. They try and pick a shade that looks like what their plaster color looks like.
So my common selection is two things. They either want to match the deck color or they want to match the watercolor.
Exactly.
And those are the two things that I've done a lot of. So I tell people there's not a right or wrong. We can go either way with that. So I have two basic types of clients that want covers. I have the grandparents that want a cover.
Mm-hmm.
And they want a cover so when their grandkids come over, they can make their outdoor space safe.
Right.
And then the rest of the time, the cover's open. So it's the cover's in use maybe 2 or 3 weeks out of the year, and that's it. And then I have others that are, we've got 3 kids, and there's this one, he's into everything. And so we've got to do everything we can to protect him from himself. And so we need a cover for that. And so we realize that, there's going to be some limitations, but we want that particular thing. So one of the things that's hugely advantageous recently is rectangles are in style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's keep it that way.
So with rectangles in style, I mean, when I first got in the industry, nobody wanted a rectangle.
Yeah.
And so a cover was a tougher sell situation because they were like, well, we want this freeform pool and we want this and we want that. So we had to come up with some creative ways to work around it. And a lot of people still settled on a rectangle. But that's been highly advantageous. Now, can you put a cover on a pool with a vanishing edge?
Yes. Yeah. As long as the vanishing edge runs the whole length of the pool.
Okay.
And the negative side of that is we affix the track to the outside of the negative edge. So there will be a visible track at the top of that negative edge.
So on the top of the weir, okay, you're going to have a track that's there that rolls back and forth. Now, does the weir have to be pitched one way or the other?
We can do either a 45 degree or a 90 degree, and we prefer the 90.
Okay.
That way, I think I'm breathing in the mic. That way, we can put that track on the outside of the edge, and you can't see it from the other side.
Okay.
If you put it on the 45, you'll still be able to see it.
Okay. So
why can't you put it on the coping side, the house side?
You can.
Oh, you can, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You'd have your normal track channel on the house or the patio side, and then on the negative edge side, you have a track mounted vertically.
Gotcha.
Perfect. And that's why we have to run it the whole length, because it's mounted vertically, and we can't change from vertical to horizontal.
So what I've done on a project like that is that the basin, we put a tray over the top of the basin, and then we put gravel on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
So that way they couldn't get into the basin from a safety standpoint as well.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
And so anyway, that's a popular situation. So we've got, you mentioned that we've got a rope situation that was in the past history, and we have cable that uses it now. So the rope, I know over a period of time would stretch.
Yep. And then shrink.
And, so it caused problems with the movement of the rope. But, when we first started, actually, when I first started, they didn't gunite the box.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, a little prefab box.
They would build it out of redwood.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And so, like, the very first job I did, they were like, yeah, we just build this wood frame thing. And I was like, are you kidding? How's that going to hold up over a period of time? And Actually, right after that, this was in the early 90s. We were like, okay, we're going to start doing all these in gunite.
Yeah.
So
We have some customers that still have wood boxes.
still have wood boxes. Wow.
Yeah.
They must have redwood because it must hold up very well over a period of time. So that was the first thing I saw that changed. So this was the next big thing that I saw that changed was the cable. So what's the life expectancy difference between the two, or performance difference?
Well, the big advantage of the cable is you don't have that stretching, and what that would cause the cover to run out of alignment.
Right.
So you've got two different length ropes coming from where they roll up. One going to the other side of the pool. So that longer rope would stretch a little bit more, and so then it's running, an inch behind, or so over time you're having to make all these little tweaks and adjustments. And so the steel cable just did away with that almost completely.
Cool. So is there an option now, or is it just all steel cable that you do?
We do almost 100% steel cable, but it still is an option to do a rope cover.
No, I didn't know that. I was just queuing you up to say they're all steel because I don't offer that option.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, they're so much better and so much more reliable. It's a no-brainer, especially given the price.
Do the rope.
Yeah, the price difference is not even that significant.
But there are a lot of companies that don't have steel as an option.
Right. Cover Pools is the only one that has a steel cable.
Only one.
All its competitors are still using ropes.
Well, still don't do the rope.
Yeah.
Call pool covers.
Yeah. So if a rope broke, a new rope would have to be sewn into the front of the fabric, whereas the steel cable just slides into the glider and you're good to go. So
that sounds a lot harder. You have to sew it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which changes the look too, because you only have so much material to work with, I'd assume, if you're sewing it in.
Well, you've got to kind of unstitch the front of that old cover and sew in 2 feet of rope into the front edge of that fabric.
Okay.
It's time consuming work, and it's pretty expensive. Once you've done 2 rope replacements on your cover, you've more than paid for the steel cable upgrade.
So somebody that has an existing cover and their rope breaks, can they switch to steel?
We used to have a conversion kit, and we were one of the only dealers that were converting the old T3 rope covers into a stainless steel driven cover. They no longer offer the conversion kit, so it would be a full upgrade at that point if you want to switch.
Okay.
And then the steel cable is also warranted for 7 years, where there's no wear and tear warranty on the rope.
Okay. So how long does a cover last?
It can last, max 12 to 14 years.
Now we're talking the vinyl part.
Vinyl, yeah.
Because the system's not going to fall apart.
No, you might need to, replace a motor at some point, or, replace your tracks, replace the tube it rolls up on when it gets really old. But the fabric itself, most average lifespan is about 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
And it depends mostly on how much you use it, because UV is hard on, outdoor anything. And then the chemical, how well you keep your chemicals balanced. Okay. So real high chlorine balances in pools or real high pH is pretty harsh on the fabric.
Mm. So what's a sign that your cover needs to be replaced soon?
It's leaking water. Okay. Usually. When they get real old, they do shrink a little bit over time. So when you get a brand new one, you'll have few wrinkles in it, but those will kind of settle down and it will shrink a little bit. So what we see is the material's either deteriorated, cracked, or got pinholes, or maybe their dog runs on it all the time and has poked a bunch of holes in it, and it's just too much to patch anymore. Or it's shrunk to the point where it's tight in the track. It's creating so much friction in the tracks from pulling inwards that the system just can't overcome it.
Okay. I don't know if we talked about this yet, but one of the biggest features is actually opening and closing the cover itself, just a push of a button. And then also like let's focus on that real quick. So I don't know what other pool companies are doing, pool cover, but is this specifically just a y'all thing? And how does that process work? Because I know the safety mechanism is great. Could you explain that a little bit?
Just how you open and close it?
Yeah.
Okay, there's our system has two different controls. One is just a high voltage switch that just sends current to the motor, turn one way or the other. And then there is a cover over that switch with a key that you can lock it so kids can't access it. The other option is a digital keypad where you enter a 4-digit code and then you just hold down a button for cover, uncover. And that one does not lock, but the code access the safety mechanism there.
Okay. And you have to keep your hand on the button until it fully opens or closed to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't close it, walk away, and someone falls in the pool and gets trapped.
Yeah.
And it's also, people always ask, can I control it from my phone? And for the same reason, you can't control it from an app or anything like that because you could be away from the pool and accidentally trap somebody in there.
Or your kid could get your phone and open your cover.
So your little brother can ride on it.
Or you butt dial on accident and it just starts opening and closing.
Yeah.
Another thing is like with water features, how does that work? Because I would assume you don't want water pouring on the cover.
Right. Yeah. No, that'll be usually best case scenario. Just the cover comes out of the tracks. Worst case scenario, you lose. It rips all the way down the side from the weight. So our system, we have two sensors on either side of the track, on both sides of the housing and the track, and there's a little magnet embedded in the fabric. And when that magnet gets all the way to one sensor, it knows it's open. Gets all the way to the other sensor, it knows it's closed. And then we have different ways of interfacing with smart controllers or even just a relay we can provide. And that relay would not allow like a pump to come on, or that relay can, make sure the valve for that water feature stays closed.
Does this, and last point on that, I'm just thinking in my head, what if I was a homeowner and had my cover closed and it just pours rain? Worst case scenario, is it going to close it automatically, or is this like as a homeowner, you go or open up your cover so it doesn't hurt it?
Yeah. So one of the sticky points with covers that customers, don't like is there's a pump that goes on top of the cover.
Okay.
A rainwater removal pump. It's a sump pump and it has a switch on the inside to turn itself on when water accumulates underneath it. And so you leave that out. I tell people just leave it out there when the cover's closed, and that way you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to sit there and run. It's only going to turn on when it needs to.
So when I design a pool, a lot of people want water features. And so what I tell people is that they've got a cover. My most popular water feature is a bubbler, because the bubbler can be running whether you've got a cover open or shut. So it's not going to create a problem with putting water on top of the cover. So that's what I usually recommend to people if they've got some type of cover situation. But, now and then I have somebody that's like, I want the spa not under the cover.
Oh, yeah.
So the water from the spa has to circulate back into the pool when we're running the spa. And so what I've done is I've pulled the spa back so the spillway goes down in behind the coping and the water runs underneath the coping into the pool, so the water won't run on top of the cover.
Right.
So that's the solution that I've come up with. Have you seen other creative solutions that people have had?
Yeah, I've seen them put the spa on the end of the pool where the cover closes, and then use the same concept, use a channel or something setback wall to let the water cascade down underneath the front edge of the cover. We've seen different types of basins that the water would flow into and then into the pool, and then occasionally overflow drains in the spa that would just let the water run through plumbing down into the pool.
Okay.
And others, I used to do the startup stuff for Claffy back in the day. And so you talked about the smart remote access, and you can assign what water feature, what auxiliary, what pump is, what needs to turn off once the pool cover's activated, which is a really great feature, by the way. So,
Yeah, you can do that. You can also you can lock out. You can actually control other aspects of your yard if you want to. I mean, most people are just doing the water feature. You can tell your cleaner not to come on, or your pool sweep underneath the, while it's covered. If you have a salt cell, you can dial back the chlorine generation to a certain percentage of what's normal.
Oh, wow.
And you can also do the same thing with the pump. So you can set your pump run time to be 10% of what it normally would be while the cover's closed, and it just adjusts automatically based on the cover position.
Just because of energy efficiency.
Yeah.
And the cover's not.
Yeah, so you save a lot of wear and tear on your equipment as well.
One segment we do often on this podcast is called Pool True Crime.
Okay.
And it's pretty much where you've seen something in the industry or something happen to a customer that you didn't like and you think it's a crime. It doesn't have to be necessarily a crime, but maybe something that you're like, this isn't ideal. And maybe for the customers listening, just bring awareness to it.
Okay. Yeah, I've got two. And they're not specific instances. I mean, but there's something we've run across numerous times.
Okay.
The first is not discussing a pool cover in your sales consultation. If it's something the customer might want later, talk about it while you're designing the pool. You'd be surprised how many calls we get where some customer says, "Yeah, I want a pool cover." So great. Okay. Who's building your pool? And they already have one.
Well, they just gun-eyed it.
Yeah. They just put coping down, and now we can't, now we got to backtrack if we really want it, which is going to be expensive. And so that's number one. More people will want them than you realize. And so we get these calls of people are like, well, the designer said we just deal with that after the pool's built.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Or they have a very elaborate design that's not very conducive to a pool cover, and then they're wanting to add one, and they're really trying to stick a square peg in a round hole. So if you bring it up as far as, is this something you might want? Do you have safety concerns? I think that would be really helpful for consumers. And then the second one is pool builders choosing to install pool covers with people who don't support the product. We service, maintain, and repair everything that we install. And we get a lot of customers, all over Texas, really, that have pool covers that can't find anybody to work on their pool cover because they don't know who installed it. Their pool builder's not answering the phone, and they're stuck with a cover that doesn't work anymore, and they just want it to work. And so those two things we see too often, really. And the second one, it really gives pool cover companies or the industry kind of a
bad vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want that.
My friend has one, but it's broke it broke and nobody can come fix it. Or
we've heard similar things with like the floor system. We love the floor system as a product, and I've heard from stories and homeowners that they like, oh, I'm never going to get one of those because it doesn't do anything. It's just you had someone install it that didn't install it right.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's actually a great point. The first one was about, if you have a pool already, can you have a pool cover? Is that something I'll offer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it should have brought it up earlier when you talked about irregular shapes. So there is always the option to put track on the deck, which if you're building a brand new pool, it's probably not what you want. But if you're moving into a house with a pool, and you've got young kids, and then it might be something that you're willing to put up with, or to put on your deck if you really need that safety factor.
So I used to do quite a few of those back in California, and that was a solution even with new pools because they wanted the freeform shape in that type situation. And some people's thoughts were the cover's going to only be down for 6-7 years, and then we're going to pull the cover up because we won't have the safety issue with our kids being small. And explain to them where the cover goes. How do you don't have a vault in the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. So explain what that looks like.
Well, there's two ways. The optimal way to us is it will roll up on one end of the pool on top of the deck, and it's usually set back about 3 feet from the water. And then we install a frame out of steel brackets and some angle aluminum, and then we have a carpenter that we work with, and we have him come in and he puts wood on that frame, and it looks like a wood bench. And I gave you some pictures of those.
Yeah.
And then the other less expensive option is, instead of having a bench, you have some coverings that go over both sides of the mechanism. And then in the middle, you see the pool cover fabric rolled up on the drum.
So ideally, does it need to be wood, or could it be like you cap it with masonry or build it out of a masonry?
Be wood. The bracket, I mean, it's not strong enough to hold that much weight, like masonry type weight. You can sit on it, and it does function as a bench. For the real higher end ones we've done Ipe, and they look pretty nice. Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about. So we have that's a solution for an on deck situation, which you can have a cover. That's definitely a solution. Now, on a in-ground unit where the cover's below the deck, explain how that vault is manufactured and what do we cover it with?
Okay. So the vault's normally built along with your steel and gunite, and we provide all the information, to your project manager, whoever. And so they'll build that to our spec. And then over the top of where the cover rolls up, there's 3 options. There's what we call a standard aluminum lid, and it's a non-load bearing aluminum extruded lid that hinges in the back, so you can open it up and clean it out. A small upgrade from that is aluminum bezel lid, which is load bearing. So if you're looking at the next option, the stone lid, and that's just out of your price range, the aluminum bezel lid is a good compromise. It's load bearing, so kids can walk on it, they can jump off of it, but it's not going to break the bank. And then on the high end, which usually what you guys do is, or actually I think all our jobs would quote with the stone lid, which is stainless steel brackets that have an aluminum tray, and the brackets are set every 24 inches. And then on that tray, you can adhere masonry or stone, tile, brick, whatever.
Yeah, in my history, the last 25 years, I've done nothing but a stone lid.
Yeah. So
previous to that, I did the what did you call it? The
bezel lid?
The bezel lid.
Yeah.
Okay. I have never done the aluminum lid because I'm like, there's always, the reason you do this is because of kids.
Right. Yeah.
And, a kid's going to walk on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a train wreck waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, so to me, and the cost difference isn't that significant.
Right.
So
from going from the standard to the bezel,
so, by all means, go at least that distance. From a value standpoint, you're probably going to be in much better shape than, but here in North Texas is extremely popular to do stone lids.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would say the majority of our covers are stone lids.
Yeah. So when I was in Northern California, it was probably a 50-50 split that we did stone lids. Now, part of the challenge there was stone was shipped in from Idaho. So a stone coping wasn't that common. I mean, we did poured concrete lids more often than we did stone lids because we did a lot of cantilevered concrete.
Yeah.
So that's something they can still do. They can pour a concrete in there and mix it up and match the rest of the deck. But, from a visual standpoint, it becomes very not as noticeable. Yeah. Now, one of the things that always is a trick, though, is the motor is not in the area where the pool cover is. It's kicked off to the side.
Right, yeah.
And
The
you
offsets.
and you have to have this offset. So the landscape architects that want perfect symmetry with everything, that's something they never think about.
Yeah.
And so that I'm always like, okay, hey, my background is I do have a degree in landscape architecture, but anyway. But I look at the, how we're going to fix the pattern in this so it all still looks cool. And so I've got one right now that they want to do masonry out the width of the motor all the way around, a band wrapping around. So that's all the same. But it's something to think about that a lot of times people don't think about.
Right.
And the aesthetics of how that fits in.
Yeah. So on that, I'll give you a little secret we have.
Cool.
We call for a 28-inch offset on the motor side. But the reason we do that is because the electricians never put the J boxes in the right spot. And so you can get down to a 24, but your J boxes got to be out of the way or else it will bump into the motor.
Okay. So I just got to make Hayden do the right thing.
Yeah.
So we can make that happen.
One point of terminology that y'all said multiple times, and I don't think we kind of explained it very well yet, is with the tracks, with the pre-existing pools, how you have it on top of the deck, and then you mentioned earlier with the new pools with it below the deck. Can you just explain how the tracks are different and how they actually work?
Yeah. So I did not bring a sample of a deck-mounted track with me, but this is an example of the old rope track. And this, before this channel was invented, this would be drilled into overhang coping. So when I was 14, I was in the bottom of a pool in the middle of the summer, drilling up, getting dust all over myself.
Yep, I remember those days.
Yeah. And so in that track, you've got two channels, and the rope runs, down both sides and around a pulley in the end of the track. And so to pull the cover onto the pool, the rope is pulling the cover down one channel while the rope's being pulled the opposite channel around that pulley. So then they came out with this. It's called track channel, and this will be put in right on top of your tile before your coping goes in, and it gets secured down with screws on this flange. And we would come after tile before coping, install this, and then put a protector in there. When we come back to install the pool cover, we would slide the track in there and then lock it in with some shims. And then the track would be secured in that channel. The new version is a little bit different looking, so they actually separated it into 3 channels, or they call it dual race. The cables will go in these 2 smaller holes, and then the fabric is actually coming through this. Yeah, fabric's actually going in there. Gliders in here and cables in there. It just seems to be a more reliable.
Is it trickier to install the liner actually into it?
The liner?
Or the cover itself, the material?
No. We install it from the housing side, and it gets slid in, and then once it's in, it just gets pulled on like it normally would, and then it gets secured to the drum when it's all the way on the pool. And then when cover's coming off the pool, the motor's spinning opposite direction, and it's rolling the drum. It's just rolling the fabric up onto the tube.
Well, that's cool. You're always improving stuff. So how new is that change?
This one?
Yeah.
About 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, 2015 is when they started like beta testing it. Okay. And our company decided to be one of those beta testers, and we just never went back.
So most of the covers I do, as you walk up to the pool, the steps are closest to the house, and usually that's where the cover will end at.
Yeah.
So when you open it, the cover is going away from the house to the far end of the pool, or to the side or something like that. So when you first open it, it uncovers the steps, and the combination that gets done a lot is we do steps and we do a spa in that location. So as we don't have to open the whole, because you don't have to open the whole cover like in the wintertime if I just want to go use the spa.
Right. Yeah.
So we just open it up a little bit. I've also had people want the spa in the deep end because they're doing a deep end and it's a really wide pool and they don't need a 25-foot wide diving well. And so they want some shallow space and they'll put the spa down at that end so they can have more chairs. But if I want a water feature and a raised wall down at the end of the pool, then I've got to put the cover next to the steps.
Yeah.
So as it rolls open, because I can't access the motor and all the fabric and everything like that if I got a water feature wall at the end.
Well, we've done a couple.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can put a slot in the base of that wall and your cover rolls right on out of that slot.
So the cover's back behind the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're gonna spend more money on the wall because it's gonna have steel I-beam or it's got to be engineered to support that span. Sure.
And especially the wider you get. I mean.
Okay. But I couldn't do that if I had a deck back there.
No.
It would be just if it was a feature wall that you rolled through and okay. But that's good to know.
Yeah, we can do it on the, if you didn't want to go through the wall. I mean, we do them where they're on the shallow end underneath the step or at the steps.
Yeah, I've done several that way.
Yeah.
Got another one coming here shortly.
Okay.
It's going to be that way. But okay, but good to know about the wall situation.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good trick to.
And when you do that, you obviously almost have to have the stone lid. I mean, you can't.
Okay.
I mean, you could, but
you should.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Is there any common myths about pool covers that y'all hear from homeowners? Like, wow, I thought this whole time, but
the one I mentioned earlier about being able to control it from the app.
Okay.
I think everything's controlled from an app these days. People just assume, or maybe an uneducated salesman just said that because they're trying to seal the deal, or so I don't know where that comes from. But
what about mistakes? Maybe that when a homeowner is looking for a cover, mistakes you could run into that might be common.
I probably have to go back to that one about having somebody that can service it. Making sure the guy is local.
Yeah.
That's his full-time job, or he treats it like a full-time job. I think some of the installers out there will travel around quite a bit. So they'll come in, do the install, and then they're out of town, and you want them to come work on it. You pay for their travel. Could be a real long time before they actually get around to traveling to you.
No, that's huge. No one wants to buy something so nice and then have no one to be able to work on it.
And then also, if it's not their full-time gig, then it may not be a priority for them. They made most of their money on the install, and now they're
gone.
Yeah.
So, how big a radius do y'all work on?
3 hours driving. Except for south. So we go as far south as Waco. There's a dealer in San Marcos that covers his northern border is Waco. And we go to Abilene, go to Ada, Oklahoma, as far north as we go, and then Shreveport.
That's a chunk.
Yeah. Wichita Falls, Texarkana.
Okay. So we've talked about an existing pool. We've talked about a new pool. Talk to us about these movable floors.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The movable pool floors, it's a solid, as far as a safety barrier goes, it's probably more superior than a pool cover because it is solid. It's kind of like a floating dock in your pool that will lower down to the bottom and become the floor of your pool. So when the cover's raised, it can be play space, patio, dance floor, event space, and then you can, within under 10 minutes, it'll lower down and it can be your swimming pool.
So are these done only on commercial applications?
Commercial and residential. I think commercial makes more sense economically because they can justify, at least the one we did at the hotel. They wanted a pool, they wanted an event space, they wanted a patio for their restaurant they had there, and they had a limited amount of space. And so instead of making the pool tiny and stick it in the corner, they were able to put a sizable pool in and then also use the space for events at night, use it for brunch, in the mornings.
So the pool's open certain hours, and then the yoga studios open certain hours.
Right. Yeah. So the other case I heard about that made a lot of sense was a retirement facility in Washington. They were going to build. They wanted an event building and they wanted a aquatic center. And instead of building two buildings, they were able to build one building, put a pool floor in it, use this building for both purposes, and they actually spent less money overall than they would have if they were going to build both buildings.
So a movable floor, we had, if you go back to episode 35, we had Twinscapes.
I listened to it.
And so Leo went through a lot of details on that, but that is an alternative for someone they're looking at situations. So you guys maintain those?
We do.
Installs?
Yeah. So there's a hatch built into the floor, an access hatch, and we open that up, and we have two guys in our company that are scuba divers, and they go down there and they vacuum out the bottom of the floor. They inspect all the cables and the pulleys, and clean it up, make sure everything's good, and then put the hatch back on. We do some maintenance on the equipment, and we do that twice a year on our floors.
Okay, so 2 times a year.
Do they bring flashlights down there? I'm wondering how dark it is.
So there's a little gap. Well, the hatch will give you light, and there's a little small gap around the whole perimeter where the water, when you normally use it, the water is coming up through there. And that actually gives them enough light.
Okay.
We have one at a ranch in West Texas, and I just text the guy that he has access to their system on his computer, so he just turns the white light on for us. So there's 2 hatches on the hotel. It's pretty long, so they had to have 2 hatches. The one in West Texas only has 1, so there's less light in that one.
So on the Hydrofloor product, one of the things that I heard is that they've changed up some pricing structure. Is that
right? So they now have standardized sizes and configurations. So you're limited in what features you can have and what size you can have. But the standard version is now called the Streamline, and the custom version is called the Dreamline. So the Streamline is about half of what the cost used to be, or maybe even a third.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
substantial if you can work within a set size.
Right. Yeah. We just had one quoted out at 10 by 20 installed in Dallas for $198,000.
Yeah, that's substantially less.
Right. Yeah. The other 2 that we've done were over $500,000 each.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go on, where do you find the Streamline standard sizes at?
They're in the brochure that I have for you there, and I assume they're on their Twinscape's website.
Okay. So if you're designing a pool and you're looking at a movable floor, you want to check out the website. Now, if they got a dream, it can be built as well.
Right.
We can design and build anything, but there's a price tag associated with that.
That's right.
So if we can design something within a standard, then it could be a more cost-effective solution.
Yeah.
And creative for them.
And the Streamline's really good for a house that has a pretty small backyard, and you don't want to lose that backyard to a pool. And so they've got sizes that are, you got 8 feet wide. Well, they do it in meters actually, because they're from England. But a 10 by 20 is actually, I think, 9'8" by 19'8".
But I mean, with a streamline, I'm looking it up here. Okay, you can have a 12-foot wide by 46 feet long.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not like, it's got to be just a little bitty thing for the fit in the streamline. So they have sizes that go from 26 to 46 feet and basically 8 to 13-foot widths all fit into that. So that's a pretty big design envelope to work within.
Yeah. You're cutting out. Well, I mean, they're cutting out a lot of engineering work, and that's where a lot of the cost of the hydrofloor comes from. I believe is just before, when every floor was custom size, custom features, everything's being individually engineered.
Okay, so, and they do have in the streamline line, they do have a sun shelf with steps, or you can just do full steps, or you can do corner squared off steps. So, I mean, everybody around here wants the, sun shelf with steps.
Full with steps, yeah.
Yeah, with full steps going all the way across. So, anyway, so that's something that's new from last year when we were talking with Leo. So, something definitely to explore, and it gives you a lot more flexibility in budget.
Yeah. I think the Dreamline, it's for that very very rare customer, that has the funds to do something like that. And I think the Streamline really brings it into a price range that is affordable by a lot more people.
So what it looks like is the width of the pool is the issue with this particular situation, and the fact that 8, 10, 12, 13-foot widths all fit into the streamline. But if you were going to go, I need a 20-foot wide, structure, then that's going to be, you're dreaming now.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say about the Hydrofloors is you're not limited to a rectangle with those. You can do any shape. So different from covers in that aspect.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, there's some cool stuff that they've had on their social media showing some different shapes that look really cool.
And you can have multiple moving structures in your pool or backyard. So, you can have 2 different floors if you wanted a shallow end and a deep end. The Hydrofloor normally is just going to be one, flat plane, and you would move it to whatever you want it to do. You could have a, splash pool for kids. It's only a couple feet deep, or you could have a deep diving pool. But then you can get, even more creative. Like their project in Montana, I think, had 7 moving pieces to it.
Yeah, that was a really nice place.
Yeah.
I could imagine that there's a customer out there that, they get their home that they want to live in forever, and they want the pool design that they want to have forever. I'm imagining like the Hydrofloors are going to be lasting a long time. So
I think a 20-year warranty is what I believe.
Okay. So I was thinking to myself, how much is it worth it, if you're doing a cover versus the Hydro? Because you're getting a lot of the same aspects with both of them. It's just one's a little bit stronger, I would imagine, but I could be wrong on that.
Oh no, it's way stronger. I mean, that's the big benefit is using that space for other things instead of, especially if you have a small backyard. Then you can have a pool, and then you can have a place for your kids to, kick the soccer ball around.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll check out the website for more information on Hydrofloors as well. But thank you for adding that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that I saw years ago, and it was a slatted submerged floor or cover that over in Europe that they have. Have you seen those here in the States at all?
The only one I've seen in person, well, I saw the mechanics, but the customer is so fed up with not being able to get somebody to come work on it that he ripped it out. So I saw the hydraulic pumps that used to run the system, but they wanted a pool cover. Unfortunately, the way the pool is designed, we couldn't put a pool cover on it. And so that's the only one I've ever seen.
Okay.
But there's a company out of California that does that.
Okay. So
Yeah, I've always wondered how they get the hatch door, how that works, because some of them come out of the bottom of the one I saw in Dallas, it came out from one end of the pool, just like a pool cover would.
right. So they can come out of the side. Some of them come out of the floor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've never personally dealt with those. Like I just said, I'm a nerd.
Yeah, I don't
looking at things, and
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do not qualify as a safety barrier.
right.
And traditionally, our company has only worked with products that will qualify as a safety barrier.
Okay, so explain what that means. So some cities will allow you to put a cover in instead of door alarms.
I'm not sure if that. So I know it counts as one safety barrier. So
Right.
if they're going to require a fence around the yard, the situations I've seen is the customer had a fence and they liked that style of fence, but it didn't. The pickets were too wide apart that it didn't count as a safety barrier, and so they got the cover to take the place of the fence. So every situation I've seen, it's always taking the place of the fence.
Okay.
So if you have a view or something, out your backyard and you don't want to put up a fence to block that view or something like that.
So this is a case by case situation that you need to investigate.
Yeah, by the city.
You need to check with your jurisdiction for sure, but
because I know that some will not allow the cover to replace the fence.
Okay.
What they allow it to replace is door alarms going from the house.
I see.
So it's an either or of that. Now, I know of some jurisdictions that they do allow this to replace the fence, but
Okay.
that's not very many jurisdictions. But again, you need to check on your jurisdiction to understand exactly what's possible.
Yeah, we just had one come up and it just got approved a couple days ago.
Yeah. So it is a possibility in some places, but in some places I can tell you for a fact they won't allow it. So, but what it will do is almost every city requires door alarms to go into the outdoor space, and almost all of them will allow to cover to replace the need for that safety level.
Okay.
But it's all, different from city to city, but okay. Cool.
Yeah, there's a development on a lake about an hour and a half south of Dallas, and the developer does not allow fencing, but requires pool covers on the pools. So we've got a lot of business out of that one subdivision.
Is that down at Cedar Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've won, I think, the last 4 years in a row, I've won an international gold.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're always winning those.
Huh?
With the pool cover?
With a pool cover on
There
it.
you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, this last year we won, I think, 2 or 3. So we've done some really cool projects in all different types of situations. The one thing that I don't commonly see is most of your covered pool backyards are usually fairly level. And we did the Cane project last year, which, there was 15 foot of elevation change in that backyard. So just, coming up with how we were going to deal with the retaining walls and the housing mechanism and all the different, and the spa was elevated. Just all the different situations comes out fun. So anyway, so PHTA, the organization has safety situations. So you guys adhere to those. That's what you were trying to ask?
Oh, I was reading through the website, but yeah, no, PHTA would be a great one.
Yeah, I don't know anything specific. I mean, we've always been members. My dad was involved forever. I'm president of the chapter now. But
That's a big deal.
yeah, I guess so. Nobody ran against me. I mean, that's why. But yeah, I don't have anything specific to add. I think regards to covers on PHTA.
Yeah.
We do drowning prevention awareness, and our product is, we feel like we can be a part of that.
Oh yeah, 100%. The amount of times in a meeting he'll say the number one thing you can do to prevent your kids from drowning is to teach them how to swim. The second one is probably get a cover.
Yeah.
And then a fence after that maybe. But yeah, I think that's true too.
Are there particular tips you'd like to suggest for homeowners, things that we haven't talked about that you should think about?
I mean, if you're thinking about building a pool, I would bring it up, and then if you want to cover, bring it up early and see how your designer responds. I've heard that from customers. I've heard designers or just builders in general that think it's a nuisance. There are specific things you need to do while you're building the pool, and you have to be very careful about some small details to make things work right, to make things look right when the cover is installed. And some builders are just not interested in having to do that little bit of extra work. So find somebody that's, if you want to cover, find someone that's into them, wants to do them.
Yeah, it's got a track record. Award-winning cover pools.
Yeah. Little side note, do y'all ever see black solar covers, like solar panels on the covers? Is that a thing?
I think because of the way it rolls up,
it wouldn't work. Okay.
It would probably get real bulky too.
I could see that.
Like those slatted covers we were talking about a minute ago, the rolls get really big, so they need a big housing on the end of the pool.
Oh yeah, it would have to be massive.
Easily.
How big is the cover when it's rolled up? How big a space is that vault?
Most pools, 13 or 14 inches. That's how wide that vault needs to go. Or it needs to be. If you get a real wide pool, you're going to have a bigger drum that it rolls up on, so you'll need more space. And if you have a really long pool, you'll have a lot of material that's getting rolled up on the fabric in it, or on the drum, and it will get pretty wide. So I think the largest we call for is 17, and 13 would be the smallest.
The walk-on lids are big enough to accommodate those?
Yeah. So we kind of have a standard size, which is 20 inches from the back of the housing, which would cover the 14-inch vault and 6 inches in front of it. So you can get that leading edge bar underneath the lid when it's open. And if we have to do a wider vault, then we can do a larger lid. Just adds cost.
Okay. What do you want on the weir in between the pool and the vault? Is there any particular material you want or don't want on that space?
We just don't want a real sharp edge. That's really about it. We don't, it'll never be seen by anybody unless they're working on it. So it doesn't need to be tiled. Now, if you put a nice bull nose tile on there, that's probably better than bare gunite, but most of the time it's just gunite that's been rounded off.
Really? They don't tile it?
Well, they'll tile up to a point, but the top section of that wall is always covered up by the cover. Even when it's open, it's going to park right there in front of it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our guys will, if they see an edge they think is too sharp, they'll hit it with an angle grinder.
Other tips, questions, or concerns?
We tried this last week. It's a new segment. It's upgrade or pass. And so I'm just going to ramble some things off to you. Or you don't even have to do upgrade or pass, but just talk about what your own opinion is on this,
All right.
Okay, let's go. Built-in pool heaters. So a pool heater.
Pool heater like gas?
Yeah, gas.
If you have a spa, definitely.
Okay, if you don't have a spa, would you still get one?
I don't know.
Okay. LED color changing lights. Is that like a must have?
I think I would get them. I've heard varying opinions on longevity. Like they're not really lasting as long as they're supposed to last, and they're pretty expensive.
Okay. Pool covers with Wi-Fi smartphone control.
Oh, that's definite.
Is that possible?
Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so you can control from your smartphone.
No. So the rules or the code is it has to be operated from a fixed location that's in line of sight of the entire water surface.
Okay.
So if you could carry it around with you, you could trap somebody in the pool.
Yeah. What if you could like theoretically have like a camera, you know those AI cameras they have on jobs now, and like attach that to the system?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've thought about that myself. If this is something that eventually will happen.
Yeah, those are popping up a lot more now. Poolside misting systems.
I'd pass.
Okay. Robotic pool cleaner or the old style, just a pool cleaner attached to the wall?
I would give robotic a shot.
Okay. At the end of the podcast, I ask 3 questions. He has his own question that I think is better than all mine. But so I want to know what your favorite food or just meal and your favorite movie and favorite book are. And he's going to want to know.
Where's your favorite place to go?
As far as travel?
Yes, sir.
For
Okay.
inspiration purposes.
All right. What was it? Food?
Yeah, food.
Tacos.
Okay, I like tacos too.
What was the next one?
Movie.
Movie. That's tough. I'm not a huge movie watcher.
Okay. That's interesting.
I'd say probably Gladiator.
Ooh, that's a good one though.
The original or the
Yeah, I haven't seen the new one.
Definitely the original. That's not a question.
Oh, well, I just wanted to clarify.
He doesn't watch movies often. There's no way he wouldn't watch. No, that movie was terrible.
Yeah, I have an 8-year-old, so the last movie I saw was like Sonic something. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. And then book.
Oh, that's tough. I like to read like historical accounts, like stories about things that happened, but there's a book, David and Goliath, I think is what it's called. It's by
Okay.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Ooh, okay.
Favorite place to go?
Newport Beach, California.
Oh, why Newport Beach?
Went there as a kid a bunch of times. My dad's from Fullerton, so we go back and see his family, and just really like it there.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
That's all I've got. So, in closing, we just want to thank you for coming on. And,
Thank you for having me.
And
It's our pleasure.
adding all this information. We'll have pictures to accommodate a lot of the stuff we talked about. So if you couldn't see my holding up the catalog here, we'll scan those in and have you where you can see them. But the best way to reach you if someone wanted information about a cover.
214-321-4029.
Okay, so call the cell.
Yeah. It's the landline, but it's the best way to reach us.
Okay, landline. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks again, and we'll look forward to working on some more projects together.
Great. Thank you guys.
Take care.
You too.